Noswaith Paub. Good evening, everyone. I know that there are many people on Honest Morn who are deeply, deeply concerned listening to the news about coronavirus. And I'll be honest with you, the threat facing us is grave and serious. In Europe, positive cases are up 40% from 1 week ago, and in some countries they've doubled in the last fortnight. In the UK, we've seen the highest figure for daily deaths since early June. Coronavirus is deadly, and it is now spreading rapidly. As a country, we need to act immediately to prevent more hospitalizations, more deaths, and more economic damage. We saw that we can do it earlier this year. On Anglesey in June, we saw a localized breakout in the Two Sisters factory in Llangefni, and through the actions of the factory owners and managers, Isle of Anglesey County Council, and Public Health Wales, the police and the staff of the factory and their families, the outbreak was stopped in its tracks. As a community, we should be very proud of how we came together to contain that incident, and we should hold it now as a model of best practice. Over the summer, we welcomed thousands of visitors to the island, and I know that many people were deeply concerned about the potential for spreading the virus at that time. But during the summer, Public Health Wales figures show that cases on Anglesey were very low. One of the biggest problems we have is that of familiarity. We are suspicious of people we don't know. We don't get close to them. Even more so now, we give them a wide berth. But when it comes to people we know, we think they can't possibly be infectious. Their family, their friends, their work colleagues. How could they possibly be carrying it? We worry we might appear rude if we don't get close to them, or we have a drink and throw caution to the wind. The problem is we can't see COVID. We don't all display any symptoms, and unlike the common cold, it's a killer. The UK's strategy to suppress the virus and support the economy, education and the NHS. Local action is at the centre of our response. This virus is not spread evenly. The situation is particularly severe in some parts of the country. And through the Joint Biosecurity Centre and NHS Test and Trace, the government has built up a detailed picture of where and how the virus is spreading. The country's testing capacity is up and testing turnaround times are down. The data we're gathering allows us to take a more targeted approach, keeping a close eye on the situation in local areas and putting in place local restrictions where they're necessary. I know that these restrictions are difficult for people, and I dislike the fact that we have to bring them in. But it's essential that we do bring them in. It's essential both to keep people safe and prevent greater economic damage in the future. When a virus is moving fast, we cannot ignore it. We cannot choose to do nothing. We know from previous experience that if we act collectively, we can control the virus. I believe in the people of this island. I know that you want to control the virus because you've already done it this year. Controlling the virus means that we protect our loved ones and our livelihoods. Acting together, we can do this again. Unless we suppress the virus now, we cannot return to the economy we once had. If we do not act, we cannot keep the elderly and vulnerable safe and secure. If we do not act now, we risk more COVID and non-COVID deaths. Like my colleagues, I did not come into politics to put restrictions on people's lives. The UK government believes in freedom for people. But this virus is invisible, and this virus is decisive. We need to take our decisive action and difficult action to stop its spread. And local action is key to this. We know that local action will slow the spread where we see breakouts. And I've been actively involved with discussions within the UK government about action being taken. Our local team of North Wales Conservative MPs and MSs held a meeting with Public Health Wales to understand how the data is being analysed for presentation to the Welsh Government. I know that each person listening tonight will play their part. We are facing the greatest threat to our precious union since World War II. During World War II, we were told to be careful what we said because the walls had ears. Now we must be careful how we act because our friends may have the virus. I know that keeping your distance from friends and family is not easy, but I also know that the decisions we make today are vital. Responding to this unprecedented pandemic requires difficult choices, some of the most difficult choices that any government has had to make in peacetime. I understand that we all make these decisions with a heavy heart, but we must focus on the aim of steering our island and our nation through troubled waters. Things will get worse before they can get better, but I know that there are brighter skies and calmer seas ahead. We're working closely with the scientific community to find a way through. But until then, I'm asking each one of you to play your part and encourage others to play their parts in defeating this dreadful yet invisible enemy. Diolch yn fawr.